Hello and welcome, Reds. Thank you very much for tuning into Anfield Road TV. Yes, you're probably wondering why again. But yeah, there's some very special things happening next season. I've been advised by someone that's much better at social media content than me to just keep with that name. So that will continue to be the name. So yeah, so apologies for the confusion chat over the last couple of weeks. But I'm joined by three very special guests. Hopefully, Kev. He's all the way back from Germany. Obviously, Spider LFC will be joining us very soon. But I'm joined by the two guests at the minute. Connor, you know who he is, Cop Council, and Scolesy, your good mates anyway. You haven't got your channel, mates, have you, Scholes? But you never know. And if, other social media content is out there. But that's only for certain eyes anyway. Especially Connor.
Beginning with O and F. Wait, what?
Yeah. But how are we doing, gents? And most importantly, chat as well. If you are new around here, make sure you do hit that subscribe button down below. All the lads' social links are in the description as well. And do get involved if you are watching on the repeat. We do get, we reply to every single one of your comments in the comment section below. So if you're watching this on the repeat, get involved. And if you are watching live, all your comments will be getting read out as well. But as you can see, the four talking points on today's episode, we'll be talking about obviously the Jude to potentially Liverpool as well. The social media was in a frenzy, and we'll have a little look at the social media clip that was banded around. Just their camaraderie, really, that they've got, both of them anyway. Obviously, Gavi on a free. We'll explore the possibilities and the potential signing for the 18-year-old Spaniard. Obviously, the Lucas retirement. Obviously, what he meant to Liverpool fans as well, and how guttering it is to see him. And obviously, Alisson the GOAT. There's a very good statistic which we'll bring to you at the back end of today's episode. But yeah, chat. I hope you're all well. We'll get to every single one of you as well. But big up there, Panov. How are we doing, mate? All right, the boys. Big up there, Wiggs. Wiggs, have you been? Have you been in the naughty stuff there, Wiggs? Hopefully, you haven't got you the camp ban or something like that. But yeah, bloody hell. Bloody hell. Did you laugh? Is it? I'm guessing. I'm hoping that's your usual phone, lad, but hopefully you managed to get it back anyway. But thank you very much for tuning in, mate. And hopefully everything was sorted with that, mate. But yeah, it's madness. And I hope you enjoyed Madrid, lad. And I know it wasn't a result, but Madrid, lovely place to go. Anyway, but Scholes, yeah, how have you been? Most importantly, mate, have you been good?
I'm good.
Yeah,
Liverpool last pair.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And we've got a couple of social media clip chats as well, just little small segments to add a bit of entertainment. But yeah, just usually if anyone's saying anything quite bad, usually Connor probably in a bit when he's talking about Jude coming to Liverpool. We'll let him with this.
Now let's not take the piss here. I certainly wasn't.
Well,
I think you.
Because we know, Connor, you do like to take the mickey, don't you?
Sometimes.
And yeah, just anyone, and just.
Oh, that's not on the telly.
Man, I'm on the telly, I'm on the YouTube, lad. But there we go. And if anyone absolutely does a banger of a comment, Jamie's gonna hit us with one of these. Not too bad. But, Connor, we'll start off with Jude Bellingham anyway, in terms of the social media content that was heading around at the minute. But obviously, if you've been living under a rock, everyone, obviously not a lot of you are on social media, but this clip has been getting branded around over the last 48 hours. And as you can see, this is just a little segment here. So, Reds, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As you can see here, it was pictured Trent and Jude Bellingham last night at a Chris Brown concert. It's not the first time the pair have been spotted together. Will Jude sign for the Reds? So, Connor, obviously that was indicating the social media clip on the right-hand side. Obviously, the bottom left picture was obviously when England were playing in the World Cup. Con, what do you make of their brotherly bromance, which it is, and are Liverpool hopefully not going to do a massive own goal?
That's I think what we're all hoping for. But after yesterday's news, of course. I think obviously I think a couple of people have been a bit doubted on Jude Bellingham, but I think what is noticeable
The mid's
is
a little bit.
All right, Kev, hang on. Kev, you're in live here, lad.
2 check 1 2 2 check. Am I checking 1 2?
Kev,
Yeah.
you shrunk there, lad, or is your desk just about 20 foot in the air? Lad?
Sorry, yeah. I can fix it. I got.
It's all right.
No, it's a new stand. Look at this. Everything.
Oh, there we go. You're showing off now. But there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'll bring it
I
in,
can
man.
do everything with these things now. What's the
you know
crack,
for a
lads?
fact Kev's going to be getting a black eye from that swinging.
But
What's the
yeah.
crack, lads? Got it.
All right, lad.
Crack,
Oh,
let's
well,
crack.
anyways.
Hang on, I'm a bit tall. I can bring it down here now and again in a minute.
Yeah, I could do with that camera angle, lad. Anyway, it sounds. But Connor, carry on there, lad. Sorry.
No, it's just I think obviously with people yesterday in the news with David Ornstein get a bit deflated. I think the one thing to note is if it is true that he might come to Liverpool, you know that he's going to get a warm welcome in terms of Trent and Hendo, people that he knows and have been obviously quite close to him. But I think we were saying off camera as well, like we all hope it's for him, for Jude coming to Liverpool. I think we jokingly said about potentially Trent might leave to go to Madrid or someone like that, jokingly. But no, I think with it being serious, I think obviously people are deflated with the news yesterday, but I don't think it was realistically any breaking news in terms of Liverpool's stance on Jude Bellingham. I think that it was pretty much what it has been for the last 6, 7, 8 months in terms of if it is a bidding war, Man City and Real Madrid will beat us. And obviously, hopefully, Trent's giving Jude a little bit of bonuses. Like you have, if you come to us, I'll send you to a free Chris Brown concert. But either way, I think that I still have hope that Jude will be a Liverpool player next season.
Yeah, and that's the massive thing, and it goes in terms of, as Connor's alluded to, and chat. Let us know, obviously, if you're just tuning in, chat. We'll quickly play that video. It's to the clip to the right hand side anyway. Let's gauge what obviously Spider and obviously Scholesy. But if you're just tuning in now, it's obviously what we'll just relate. So, Reds, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As you can see here, it was pictured Trent and Jude Bellingham last night at a Chris Brown concert. It's not the first time the pair have been spotted together. Will choose. So there we go. Yes, and due to the copyright, anyway, in terms of the audio, don't want Chris Brown running after me. Hey lad, give us 20p for that here and every song. Yeah, well. But suppose that's the massive thing in it. Liverpool don't want to be. I've never in my life of supporting Liverpool, most importantly, and being a football fan, I've never seen players be as open to their friendship as. Do you think that? Can you relate back to thinking of a certain bromance that has been as heavily publicised as these two, miss? Or
I can't think of one. The only one that comes to mind is obviously Mason Mount and Declan Rice. They've done loads of videos together with England, but obviously they've been mates since they were kids.
Yeah.
This one's different. It doesn't. I can't remember one where they've met at an England camp and then straight away they've like hit it off sort of thing. And obviously the fact that Jude plays in Germany and he's willing to travel over. I know he's obviously got millions and millions and millions, but it's still effort. Like he's willing to travel over, spend time at Trent. Who knows what'll happen?
yeah.
I know about that trip.
Yeah. Well, speaking of travelling, Kev has got his
crack, lad.
back at long
Yeah.
last. Firstly, I was Germany, mate. So it was good.
It was amazing. I lost my voice. And okay.
I think
You
your
hear me?
audio keeps on coming in and out, or is that my headset?
It could be my jaw. It could be a noise gate or something issue here. I've got a new thing set up here. You see. So wait, let me try this. Is that okay? Is that better?
Yeah, it sounds.
Okay,
Yes.
that's better. Okay, so I just took down the gate as well. But yeah, man, it was brilliant. So like, there was literally queues down the bloody street, which is great. To see the band because they'd heard about us playing on the Wednesday night, and then word got around Munich again on the Thursday. That it was good. So when it came to the Friday, there was a queue literally heading down the whole main street in Munich. So we should have charged more, really.
Yeah, especially all the new gear that you've bought, lad. Sounds.
Yeah. There's a lot here. I got this new Go XLR thing, and that's probably what's messing with my mic. I don't have anything. I have nothing set up in it yet.
All of us lads can relate. You know when you get a bit of new tech in your gaff,
Mm.
and you're like, yes, and then your missus or like your girlfriend or whoever your partner, whatnot, are going, why have you bought this? Or is it, Joe, when like your nan or your mum or your dad or someone in your house or whatever says, go and fix that Wi-Fi box or something. Like it's messing up, and all you have to do is like you switch it on and off, and they're like, what have you done? What have you done? Just not got the tools out and done the business anyway. But yeah, big up there, chat. I'll ask obviously Kevin.
Bought a chip buddy and a cup of tea, now, right, man?
What is it? You make it out like you're making a load of noise or anything, and then you get favours in return, don't you? So happy days. But big up there, chat. Obviously, fan of the Rockstar returns, yo Kev, as I said. And when's your next gig in Ireland? Because I know a lot.
Just Saturday.
This Saturday, so obviously we'll get Kev to shout
No
out.
rest for the wicked, man.
Yeah, get Kev to shout out, especially for the Irish followers as well. Go and pop over, say hello. As much as I want to see Jude, big up there, Shay. Hope you're well, matey. Thank you for tuning in as always. As much as I want to see Jude at Liverpool, it's not happening, unfortunately. And I'm under that influence, Shay, 100%. Me and Connor off camera. Connor's like, "Shut up, lad." I've told him, especially if we don't get him, especially with the news story that we're speaking about today. We don't want the expectations, and we've seen that. I don't know. Obviously, probably Connor, you're probably more well adversed in terms of the social media side of things. We've seen that already over the last 48 hours. In relation to who's the reporter, the very well respected journalist,
David Ornstein.
Yeah, David Ornstein come out with an opinion piece, and that's all it was. Because as we know, Liverpool in recent years, they don't tend to give a lot of the press any murmurings really, unless we get Virgil van Dijk in the top of Blackpool Tower, and then the Echo and the Athletic and everyone get wind of that. But we've learned our lesson from a lot of the Van Dijk stories leaking. But that's the thing, in it, we don't. It went a bit mad like 2 days ago, didn't it, on social media, and just on the back of David Ornstein. What would you put that down to, Con? Do you think it's people have put Jude on such a pedestal, really, as always, as fan bases, our prime priority, and especially given as we've already spoke tonight, that Trent being very well adversed, being best mate by the looks of it. And if Liverpool were to miss out, it'd be such a massive pie to the face in reality.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of things. I think the longevity of the interests. Like, we've been, of course, away from the headlines, we've been, of course, keeping tabs on Jude Bellingham for a very long time. But publicly, of course, the last 2-3 seasons, it's been known that Liverpool want Jude Bellingham. And I think people at the club, of course, they're not stupid. They would have known with each season that goes by, and with him getting better year in, year out, the price would only go up and up. I think the one thing that didn't help Liverpool more recently was probably Enzo Fernandez going to Chelsea. I think I think Liverpool thought that
the price has gone quite high, hasn't it?
Yeah, like I think, what was it, 106 million?
Crazy money.
And of course, I think Dortmund straight afterwards was like, yeah, we know Jude Bellingham isn't going less than that. I feel like, though, the piece from David Ornstein as well, it's come from Dortmund's side in terms of they've brought out an opinion in terms of, look, if there is a bidding war, Liverpool cannot compete with Real Madrid and Manchester City, which isn't any news. And I think that's the other part of the conversation, where people are frustrated if we don't get Jude Bellingham, because again, it goes to that conversation of the owners and not investing and not putting up the funds for someone that we've been interested for the last 2-3 years. And I think when you mix all that in, it's of course going to have a toxic atmosphere. Social media is toxic, it's in itself, but when you have, of course, the
added incentive,
when you
Yeah.
have so much negativity, of course, it's just going to explode. So, but I think there's two sides to it. Of course, for me, I want Jude Bellingham at Liverpool. I think, of course, we all want Jude Bellingham, but I think the only upside to it is if Liverpool do, for example, have kept 100 million away for Jude Bellingham, then that can be used for 2, 3, 4 players potentially in that regard. But for me, the only thing that I won't get frustrated at is if Jude Bellingham goes, okay, I just want Real Madrid, or the family goes, I want Real Madrid. If there isn't a choice of Bellingham rejecting Liverpool and Liverpool have gone, okay, we can't do the deal, that's for me when I'll get really frustrated in terms of
100%.
just everything will just be like, well, what was it worth? Why did we wait 2, 3 summers to get a midfielder in the door?
Yeah, that's the thing, Kevin, eh? And like it's going to come to a point where it will hit the top of the spear. Really, it's gone to a level now, especially in the press, in the fan base, even probably with Dortmund fans as well. Kev, in relation to as Connor's alluded to there in Scholes, that there's no way FSG back out of this now. Like Klopp, the squad, fundamentally Trent, everyone's vying. Of course, it will be a pretty penny, but it's how important for me. I think all of us, if Liverpool could get Jude in, he's not just a 5-year player, he's a potential 10, 12, 15-year player that, yes, short term, it'll be a lot of money, but he's got the potential of being in Liverpool's future captain and a player that fundamentally, would you, Kev, build around?
Yeah, well, if you have a player of that ilk, I mean, do it. Get the money over the line, get it done, get whatever you can to get the funds in place, like selling your little baseball team or whatever it was that you have to do to fund it. So if it costs a baseball team to get Jude in, so be it. But he's obviously everybody's first choice. I never thought it would actually happen from day one when I heard the rumors because I just thought that Liverpool need a lot more than just one top class midfielder. They need a multitude of them. At the moment. So I in my corner, not that I didn't want Jude, it's just that I would rather see us buy 3 top quality midfielders for the price that you pay for Jude, rather than just go and get one worldie and then not look at the rest of the worries within that midfield and that just polish over cracks. I don't want to be doing that anymore. So I just kind of want to get the job done now, really, and just kind of either go for Jude and make sure there's enough funds on the side outside of that for another player, or just go and buy 3 good midfielders. You know what I mean? Because I'd even take like Paulinho there from Fulham. I would take, to come in as cover in that midfield. I would take somebody who's experienced and 2 more people that are just really good potential, like Caicedo if he hasn't moved in, and the likes of. So that's what I would go for. Over right, Jude. Whether it's been outed or not that he's coming to Liverpool is mainly down to rumourville and fandom. Really, I think.
There's
that unless I see concrete, I'm not. You know me, Jack. I'm not a
all of
fancy
us.
dude.
Yeah.
I need to see it from the horse's mouth to believe it or get him or invest myself in it. I'd like it, but I'm too nonchalant.
So guys, we'll be arriving at Kev's house going, boys.
Yeah, I do. I'd
Kev.
love to see him arrive. I really would, as long as we're buying more on top of it. And if it means selling players to buy more on top of it, I've no problem with that either. If it means getting Jude with the funds that we have and then selling to buy for the rest of the players, I have no problem with that either. But I want to see extra players in that midfield and a centre back and Vardy.
100%.
I just think like with Jude, if you it's 100 million. Let's be honest, we're not getting it any cheaper than 100 million. But you look at the way the market's going. He's 19 years of age, 20 years of age. If in 4 years' time you paid 100 million for Jude Bellingham, I think you look at it as a bargain because the way the market's going, for a player of his stature, he'll be 125 million in 5 years, 130 million. It just keep going up and up and up. It's not going to come any lower. It's not eventually just going to stop raising the market. So I think he is so young. You're not buying a 27-year-old. You're buying a 19, 20-year-old. Like,
I still don't think his money is that high, Scalzi. I think his money is. I still think it's around Haaland money. Like, because I mean, everybody thought Haaland was going to go for 150 million pounds, and he ended up going for was it 69 million?
Well, everyone
Plus
said
the
that,
add-ins.
boys in chat, didn't they, about Van Dijk? Like, everyone's like, oh, you're paying that much. And then you look at it, that wouldn't even get at Van Dijk's peak, 75, 80 million wouldn't even have got Van Dijk's left foot. Like, it's mad.
I think you're probably looking at like 180, 200k a week if he was to come
Yeah.
in.
Oh yeah, because he's only on probably about 60,000 at Dortmund. Probably, let's say he's gotten a raise because of his stature. He's probably been raised up by about 50%. So he probably had about 94 if he's had anything. He doubles his money coming to Liverpool and with bonuses on top of that. I mean, he's already money in the bank. He's 19, and then he can still go for his 150 million euro move in 2 years' time to Real Madrid if he wanted to. I think it's stupid going to Real Madrid now. Look at Odegaard, how it hindered his career for so many years going to Real Madrid, and now he's only starting to get going at Arsenal. He's missed a big chunk of actually doing well.
And
You know?
yeah, and the thing, boys, as I mentioned before, there's a couple of lads on the chat I've already alluded to. Being captain, apart from obviously Real Madrid, is Real Madrid. But in terms of when we're speaking about English football, if it is to pick between two teams and he cares about the football first and foremost, yes, Manchester City have been successful over the last 10-year period, but his name will get even bigger. And Gerrard is a massive inspiration, as we know. But being a captain of Liverpool and being the captain of Manchester City are two completely different entities in itself. As much as that winds up Manchester City fans, fair enough.
Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, like
nobody rated him. I know he's a legend for Liverpool.
Yeah, your name will ring ear to ear around world football much more if you're the captain of Liverpool Football Club than you were than Manchester City. As much as that winds City fans up, fair enough if City, as we know, probably will have a lot more success in the next 20, 30-year periods in history, given the resources that they've got. But that's the thing.
Jack, gotta ask yourself a question. Can you remember any other captain for Manchester City besides Vincent Kompany right now? No.
Richard Dunn. Richard Dunn.
This is my point. Who can remember somebody who was a stable in the team that became captain over a long-term period and was respected? Probably Vincent Kompany.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about the old match attack books. Do you know when City? Was it like Colin
Stephen Ireland?
Yeah, Stephen Ireland, Petrov, and all that, the boys as well. Rocky Santa Cruz before he moved.
Steve is from my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, big up there, chat as well. So let us know your thoughts on obviously, Jude, before we just round off here. Definitely captain potential. It's a small amount over a long period of time as well. Obviously, big up there, Mark. Hope you had a good time. Obviously, you were looking after your dogs and obviously that for the family, Mark. But I think you're probably back home now, mate. So thank you very much for tuning in, mate. Yeah, if we are in a bidding war, we will lose. FSG will pull out of it early and focus on others. 100% there, Raymond. But I think it's got to a point now where they're not even asked about putting security around them, boys, are they? They were at that concert quite openly. And even on the social media accounts as well. There's nothing to hide there now, unless we live in another parallel universe. 12 months down the line, Jude signs for Real Madrid, and then so does Trent. And then you're like, what the There's going to be absolute madness, but big up everyone who's trying to pass a tricky stew and then get on a sensible diet. Big up there, Scouts. You're all good there, Scouts. All good, mate.
Prove it.
Yeah. Big up there, man. But yeah, stop being negative, boys. After you spend the big guns somewhere, they have no choice. Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I'm definitely not negative, Panaf. I'm a little bit. I'm always realistic, as well, but
yeah,
I'm also inside me. I really want to sign Jude, but if not, then I'm just going to be realistic. Let's get the money together and buy 3 top-class midfielders, bang them in our outfield, and leave enough left over for a good right back and a good centre back. I want to see the bones of £250 million, not even euros, spent this summer. To be honest with you, or nobody's really going to be happy because I'm not a guy that likes to spend money. Because Klopp can create world-class talent, but he's already done that. But they've left such a gap between replacing that world-class talent or topping it up. With just a bit of youth that they haven't.
I was going to say that then.
They haven't.
Used to be ahead of the curve always, and now we're not.
We're not. So they need to. FSC need to get the finger out, man, and they need to do it fast. and
Yeah.
to keep us within. Because I mean, Newcastle are going to be coming into the fray. No matter how much money all of these guys over there in Qatar and all these places have money and they have ways around it. City did it for years. That success and now they're being investigated. Newcastle are going to learn from this and they're still going to spend money. They're going to be involved in it. Chelsea now have money involved in it. Arsenal, whether they get the money together or not, they're still doing well without it. So I mean, Arteta is doing a really good job at Arsenal for the funds that he's had. But they have spent a lot as well over the last few seasons, but not in comparison to the rest of them.
Yeah, as Wiggs has said here, boys, as well. Keep on getting your comments in, chat. We'll read out every single one of them as well. But as Scouse said there, the Virgil van Dijk money seems like nothing now. 100% there, mate. And you could probably say, not that we want to be selling Virg, but in, say, 3 years' time, I think you look at centre halves, yeah, if Van Dijk loses a bit of pace, I think he's still easily, if you look at how desperate clubs like Paris Saint-Germain have been in recent times in terms of signing a 35-year-old Messi, or however the old he is now, and obviously other players of that ilk in the last couple of periods of time over the last 10 years, they're desperate to bring in anyone, really. They're all, I think Liverpool, in the next, well, at the back end of Van Dijk's career, when he has deteriorated in terms of his form and his pace and everything, I think Liverpool can easily get half of that value back, 100%. They have to spend, yes. Whether they want to actually spend properly is another thing. Right? I hold my breath with their penny pinching policy, and that's more or less where us four are, and obviously where the majority are. We are, chat. We see it when we believe it. In all honesty, too much. It's all right.
Do you know what we'll do, Jack? We'll create a show just where we're just being optimistic about transfers.
Oh,
We'll go full rumorville and full fantasists to the crack.
Well,
it'll get clipped like everything else, but
Conspiracy theories with
just football conspiracy theories, but
what is it? Come on with
only in
Tim.
the benefit. Completely biased stuff.
Well,
That's
the Liverpool asthma stuff was all a PR stunt or something like that.
You never know, though. Can you imagine being a Barnet fan, and then Edgar Davids rolls up on a Monday morning and your head's falling off? Like, you can never say never.
Yeah, you never know.
Gakpo's another realization. There was a lot of teams after Gakpo, and he chose Liverpool, as you can see what the project is happening there. So he must have gotten some sort of info. He's my only reason for thinking positively when it comes to what we're going to spend this summer, because he must have been given some sort of assurances, along with salary signing as well, that there was going to be big money spent the following summer, as long as we got through this season. I think
that's the thing, boys. Con, we spoke about all of us. I don't know if you missed it, chat this week as well. Van Dijk with his comments, how angry he more or less was in the press conference before he went with Holland, just basically putting like he was extremely disappointed, and we all get that there's still quite a large period in the season to go, and they shouldn't really be focusing off the pitch already and putting the feet up, which I doubt they are, but mentally it looks like they're doing that at the pitch at the minute. But Van Dijk, Salah, all the top tier players, even Alisson as well, digging out players after the Real Madrid game. It's almost like a case in point of a lot of the senior players are very frustrated, not just at obviously at the club, but in terms of the recruitment. Because you look at Salah, I don't think he signs his deal. I don't think Alisson or Van Dijk in recent years sign those contracts until they are under reassurances that the club is going to be actively out there pursuing the top elite level players.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's even when we've done past podcasts as well, and we've said about Jurgen Klopp and his contract, really, because he's the one for me that I'm more worried about, like not so much any other player or so on. For me, it's Jurgen Klopp is the big worry, because again, he would have been promised things, of course, like we've heard all probably since December onwards, that Liverpool are having a rebuild this year as well. And if he's not given the backing that he deserves, because look, he's been, of course, the squad's been added to over the last couple of seasons, but it also there's been major gaps that haven't been filled. When even you look at last summer when we were speaking about midfielders, nothing got done about that, and it does feel a little bit like this 6 months is just a big period for everyone in terms of FSG, in terms of Klopp, in terms of the club moving forward in itself, because I think what happens, especially in the next summer window, it's going to determine what happens over the next 3 to 4 years. And again, that affects then the likes of Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah, and like you mentioned, there's PSGs out there, there's Juventus out there. I know Juventus are in trouble at the moment.
They are finished.
But you get what I mean. There are top European teams out there, and they all just easily got right. I want to go, and thanks for the memories. Like look at Mane, for example. People and pundits and continue to go on and mention like, oh, Mane, it's the worst decision ever that Liverpool got rid of Sadio Mane. Mane wanted to go. That's the thing that people forget about. Sadio Mane wanted to leave. He wanted to leave 12 months earlier. We said no. And okay, we got Luis Diaz in the end, and of course Luis Diaz has been good up to now, of course, what we've seen of him, and hoping of course for a lot more. But that's the thing, when you've been at a team for so long and been so successful, you want a new challenge.
It does go style as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I was actually talking to Manny last night. He told me that, or last week he told me that exact same thing. We were in their German slob in Munich. He was telling me,
was it Mane in a mosh pit? Like, go away, lads.
We were in their Munchen slob, So go slob. No, but Munich fire. No, but yeah, you're spot on, Connor.
Yeah. It's just that though. It's the fact that people I think reasonable people understand what's going to happen with Liverpool over the next 6 months. I feel like when people are just like, oh, like this isn't working, it's the fact that we are in a rebuild phase at the moment. We've had the successful years in terms of once you have your best team, I think you have a 3 to 4 year period after it. We've had that. And now is the rebuild. Now is the important time to go on and make, not even next season's, the season afterwards, that Liverpool hopefully be challenging for the Premier League and Champions League, and hopefully a lot more stuff to come as well.
Yeah, it's an important period, boys, isn't it? We'll speak about obviously Gavi in a little second as well, but keep on getting your comments in, chat.
I seen a comment earlier, Jack, about the 300 million. How did they recoup the money back?
Oh yeah, we'll go back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to mention that curve? Yeah, you want to answer that, mate? Well,
is it?
Fans it here.
Just a small bit up, I think. What about? I think it was Scousers. It's definitely Scousers Convent. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you carry on there, Lar, before.
No, it's about how if we get an investor in, is it? Oh no, he's only talking. I jumped at his chunky fish fingers, vinegar, and whatnot comment, but yeah.
There we go. Sorry,
there you go.
Everyone's bloody smashing it in the chat.
That's how you explain how a potential investor could actually make any money after splashing out, say, 300 million. They give a window for their investment, and these are what you call little mini tax write-offs, right? So the investor will put in the money and they get the money in. And that 300 million will go in, and it'll go on a specific thing. That'll be the deal that the ownership will make or the board will make at that moment in time. Some of the money will go into debt, and some of the money will go into players and redevelopment. If the redevelopment's already done, it'll just all go into players and wages and staff wages as well. But then what they'll want to see is that they'll want to see a return of their money times a half back. So they'll want to see that 300 million back plus 300. Plus 150 million over stages over the next few years. That'll probably be, we're talking, an 8 to 12 year project, depending on the deal that they've done within that. So they'll see the 300 million back within the first 3 years immediately, pretty much. Whether it means that the club has to borrow against it for 110 million. And as I said before, a club that borrows against its own money is normally tax write-offs. They don't have to pay as much tax. They can pay these people back first. It's only when you go into administration when you're in so much debt that none of these things can be covered in a stepping ladder and all the way down. So yeah, so you're talking 300 million plus that money back, then plus 300 million is what they have to make back with bonus of interest of 150 million.
And especially especially with that investor, might as well give potentially long term if they want to get any more shares. That obviously relates to what you said. Potentially, you never know. Long term aspirations of these investors potentially could lead on to obviously the bigger purchases.
It's different in the States, you see, because in the States,
Yeah.
over here they get limited amount of money for what they do for, like, it's mostly the Premier League gets all the bonuses off their TV rights and stuff like that, and that revenue comes in and it's spread out towards all the companies and the clubs and down to grassroots. But in the States, it's a little bit different because they get like, no matter what, they can really advertise Vicodin if they want to, and that would cost Vicodin 150 million. And this is where all the money is a lot larger, and you're thinking, how are they able to invest all of this in? Because they just put on these advert deals throughout the year with these companies and all of these, like, especially the pharmaceutical companies.
Sponsorships and all that.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that they can do it without getting, they can get tax write-offs and all of these in the States. There's loads of, like, all of these 401k bullshit that happens over there. It's just per capita. So it's massive.
Well, we're Liverpool boys, and you only have to little look at, I think, over the last 20-year period when you have, obviously that's why the Premier League skulls is probably as big as we all know. You only have to little look at like the share, like sponsors there on shirts. I think Manchester City I think they signed a new deal last season for a certain company. But it just goes to show how much, I think, long term, I think kits will absolutely get destroyed
Look
with,
at the
I think it
French
was,
league, Jack.
yeah, like the
French
French
league has
league and
all over.
like NASCAR as well, when they have
Yeah.
like literally Americanized sponsors all over the gaff. So it's there's so much revenue to still potentially being pumped out of the Premier League teams, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I think I might be wrong here, but I think I remember reading the Chevrolet shirt that United had for like 3 years. I think over 3 years it was something ridiculous, like £105 million to have on their shirt for 3 years, or just bang, there you go, there's your sponsorship fees. And it's like, I know it's a massive club, but even still, it's 105 million from just having someone's name going bang.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And as I said, that it will get worse. It's the same in other sports. Sponsorships do. It's an easy way of making money, isn't it? The more and more companies that start broadcasting and start getting their image out there, you'd be stupid if you get a chance to have a big football team in Europe sponsoring your gear. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I think in one way there, Scores, you're spot on with that Chevrolet deal. I think that's why Liverpool are smart enough to have Standard Chartered in there, because they run a lot of banks in Europe. It means that Liverpool can get themselves out of any financial worries by just passing their debt around all the time. And if they pass it around to all their banks and subsidiaries, they can just keep out of crap and keep borrowing against more money. And it won't put them in any more debt because the revenue that comes in at the end of the year will cover that. But yeah, it just covers us big time. Nearly where we were in 2011.
It's all the notable hints as well, boys. Obviously, I think in the next 20-year, 30-year period, it will have an advancement in terms of football, the way it's evolved. I think you will see, probably, I don't know how they'd integrate it, but there'd be some way of television companies picking up like coding, because obviously the change from the standard billboard on the side of the pitches over the last 20 years since Sky come in to now, obviously with the new technology and like I think it will be like more or less 3D advertisements as well with these television cameras. You are looking at obviously like the animations on the side of the pitch. I think you will in certain stadiums probably get double the amount of advertisements, because like probably might make the pitches a bit more deeper so they can get double the advertising revenue. But it's going to be interesting in a way, but hopefully that answers a scouse. But it's an interesting way of how they do make money, but it's going to be money, money, money. That's where all this money's going to come for Jude. Hopefully, big up there, Avens. Nice one for that, La. If you haven't already dropped a like on the stream, massively does help out. Make sure you head over to the Cop Council, obviously Spider, LFC, Kevin, the lads. And
I knew. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I just knew the first 3 years of that Nike deal was going to cover that Anfield Road build against that debt instead of borrowing against it, their own pocket. I knew that was coming, but that's over and done with now. We're gone through the first that there's at least that was to cover and a borrow against. So the borrow against has done that. So now there should be £225 million, £218 million tax that should be available coming up the next 2 windows. out of
Yeah.
that, plus your money for whatever stage you reach in the Champions League. Qualifying for the Champions League is going to be a big thing for us this season. Well, now that we're not going through any further stages. Going through the extra further stages, we covered off the money we would have paid at the end of getting to the Champions League as well.
Yeah.
That.
100% that. We'll get through all these comments as well, and we'll obviously go on to the Gavi news story anyway. We'll have a little gander about that. It's good that the frustrated hopefully owners will pull them socks up and start playing properly week in, week out. It hasn't been good enough. And obviously, Wiggs, you're going to Madrid as well. I think all of us went into the expectations hoping to do something, but it's been the story of our season, sadly. But hopefully, with, as we've already spoke about tonight, if we are to get Jude in the summer, I think that would give not just us fans a boost. It would fundamentally give those players a boost on the pitch, and bringing a player of that quality first and foremost into that team massively just elevates Liverpool's game. He's a box-to-box. He's big. He's 6'2", 6'3" plus. And obviously, everyone knows Jude's quality. And it's what that signals to the rest of Europe as well, though, chat. If we did bring in a Jude Bellingham, added with the likes of Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson, Manchester City would turn around, and obviously like Real Madrid and be going, bloody hell, boys, that was a big transfer, which it would be. Especially if these, as we've already mentioned tonight, those teams are vying for his signature as well. Basically, be two fingers up to Real Madrid, considering they got Benny nicking him off us. Big pitch performance is a long way off as normal. Yeah, but fingers crossed there. That will improve, Mark. It will not get fourth, be a blow to rebuild. But I think even is the case, Shay, even if we didn't get Champions League, I think we still Liverpool. I don't think that changes it, because not that we're big-headed as fans, but as we've alluded to before, Shay, it's Liverpool Football Club. We're not talking about a QPR and Norwich. You look at when we didn't have Champions League football. Obviously, Ginny, was it the last game of the season, boys? That was very, very first channels. It was against Middlesbrough last game of the season. Yeah, where we won them 3-4-0. Yeah, so that was my very first one. No, my second video on the channel. Done like a little vlog then, so that was good.
It wouldn't be so much of a blow, Seamus, but what I will do is I will highlight the type of player that we don't want if they refuse to come in, because we haven't got top four, and that will exactly what that if anything, it either way it does us a favor, and doesn't bring in a player that out of that ilk. Be a blessing in disguise, really. Like, it's always going to be an 18-month rebuild for us. A lot longer for, like, when you think of United, they've been rebuilding since 2013, really. They've done nothing really. Jose Mourinho did wonders with that team, and he got slated for getting them second and winning them. He got slated for doing that, even though like he was the only person on the pitch that could see that there was problems there. So no matter what people talk about Mourinho's football being outdated, he's very smart when it comes to seeing what the future trend is going to be like in a football club. Conte is probably similar.
Yeah, Conte, he's probably chilling on a beach in Italy happy days. And it did baffle me. I was saying to the lads before we come on here, like, this fascination with people, like, let the fella, like, privacy has gone out the way in modern society now. Conte's just got on a flight on a Ryanair or whatever other flight companies are available. But whoever it was, he got on the plane, and it's like, someone sat there with, like, recording him. Like, just let the fella just chill. Yes, if he's been sacked at Tottenham, he's just going home to probably see his family. And I don't know Conte's
Was he
situation.
sacked? Because I missed all the news.
It's more or less getting reported over the last couple of nights.
I've missed a lot of stuff this week.
Yeah, it might be, well, after this show, go and check his con. And I'm in the camp of Conte. I know a lot of people are like, whoa. But at the end of the day, it's Spursy, Scholes. It is Spursy.
I just think it looks worse on Spurs. When I saw it, I thought, you know what, he's the first manager in a while with a little bit of balls and a backbone. He stood to like, not so much the owners, but like the people who run the club, like Levy and stuff, and just turned around. I was like, this is a joke. The managers you've brought in aren't the issue. This club's like rotten to the core. It's not a coincidence that you haven't won a trophy for 20 odd years, like, and that's all he said. He said what everyone's thinking, but because he said it in the public eye, they've thought, let's get rid of him. But I think it makes him look worse, because it's as if they've not accepted what he said, and what he's saying, it's facts. Like, whether you agree or you disagree with the way he's done it, that's fair enough. I think he could have handled it better, But in the same sense, you can't. I don't think you can sack him without making yourself look worse by sacking him. I think if they had accepted what he said and come out and went, you know what, I released a statement saying we don't like the comments he's made. However, we take on board and we'll be working with him and
You back our manager.
With the fans, but they haven't. He just given it 2 days and sacked him.
Yeah,
I think that's just fizzled down from like the Levy mentality.
That's the infrastructural problem.
I think genuinely. I think he should be. I think he's just the issue.
I think he's so protective of players, Levy, and he just screws over everybody that's in his staff between him and the players, and that's his biggest problem. He's not a good man manager when it comes to running managers and people that are smarter than him about football. He might be good at business, but he's not the trust the managers there, you know. And yeah, it's ridiculous. He needs to step back a small bit and just. He funded somebody when they got the bail money, and they funded the stadium. But I mean, that was pretty much built from different funding places, from the sponsorship.
He is too invested. That's the problem.
Yeah, he is.
He's not running the football club. He's trying to manage it like
Spurs have developed to Newcastle.
Yeah, look what Jose in that documentary, and what Jose fundamentally said to Danny Rose and what he said to Dele Alli, as much as probably you all dislike Jose in certain aspects, but he was spot on internally with the players. And look where Ali is now. He's playing in Turkey, no respect to that league, but from what he come through as a youngster, one of the best youngsters supposedly at that time. But it's just gone tits up, really.
Imagine if he didn't have the ego and demanded that Steven Gerrard come and meet him. Yeah. To Liverpool. Imagine where he'd be right now on the clap.
It's the thing, Liverpool, I'd like to say we are a different club, bit with Manchester United as well. We are two the biggest big juggernauts in English football, as we know. I think we'd hopefully have handled Dele Alli a lot more better than we would have. You only have to look at the legends as well. That's like, even if players are going through difficult times, there's the likes of Rushy, the likes of Fowler, the likes of Kenny, Souness. There's so many legendary players that you could probably go to and ask for some guidance, really. And yeah, we're a different gravy, but Tottenham will be Tottenham. Spursy, a £1 billion stadium, but yeah, them and Everton will be in the Championship soon.
You're just missing the video now of that lad outside the store, and he goes, "Tottenham, who is this?"
But yeah, or we can Daniel Levy at the minute whilst he's watching this video.
Let's not take the piss here. I certainly wasn't.
Well, I think you.
Unlucky Levy, lad. And go ahead, Lucas.
Unlucky.
He's finished Tottenham.
I miss Lucas so much.
If you're a manager and you're a free agent, like, I think even with that Spurs job, you don't want to touch it with a barge pole because you don't want to drag your name through it. The managers that have been there have got some good pedigree. They haven't had bad managers recently. They are managers that have won stuff, and that they can't do it at Tottenham. And as Conte said, that's not a coincidence. Like, you wouldn't go near that if I was a manager, mate. Not a chance.
Yeah, but we'll probably do another show for the week. Oh, definitely. We'll probably do a show tomorrow if you're free.
I'll do loads. I missed it all week.
Yeah, but let's get to everyone's comments as well. As Eamon said, the new main stand should be named the Bill Shankly stand. 100% agree with it, Eamon. I think there will be a lot of new stories round. Obviously, the renaming of the stand, that's how you get money back as well, isn't it? So, what is it? A new channel name change, Jazz? In a couple of months.
The third one out of this year.
Yeah. Sponsored by Axon or whoever. Sort of a club sponsor. But yeah, 100%.
As nice as that would be, there's places around the place that have Bill Shankly named, you know, in everything, in every aspect. There's walls, there's a door, and I know there's a stand there, but I mean, Kenny Dalglish, it's so much more in that period.
Kenny's got his stand anyway.
He's got his stand.
Stand, so.
Yeah, I think we need to kind of leave that off a small bit and give it to somebody more recent that's done a lot for the club, and maybe, you know, eventually down the line, or just take the sponsorship for it now and then rename it after that sponsorship to something else. You know, as much as I don't like doing sponsorship deals, maybe call it the Bill Shankly, whatever the company name is, and do that for like over 2 or 3 years and just say, no, it's called this, no, it's called that. Then eventually give it to like even Gerrard was a legend of the club, and he'd probably get something named after him. But I mean, you can't put it past Jurgen Klopp if he stays and he wins a lot of stuff for us. That quality of Klopp stand, you know. I mean, he's won everything. He's the only manager to do it in 30 odd years. So, you know, I mean,
The Rafa Everton Football Club legend. You never know. The Everton Football Club.
Shankly is a statue. So does
Yeah.
So does Paisley, you know, and they both got gates and thing, and that's as famous as it gets because you're always going to see those entrances when you're entering Anfield, and that's as, you can't get into the club without passing under them, and that's the whole point. Whether giving it the stands are normally given to player names or other managers or other stuff like that. So I would probably, you know, I wouldn't see it. My
Yeah,
answer is
Shay, we'll probably do another Premier League show and we'll just rinse Tottenham and Palace.
Is Vieira
Like,
gone?
yeah, he's gone. Like,
Oh, what the
ridiculous,
hell? Missing
a ridiculous decision.
Stupid decision. Yeah, them playing good football.
Have you seen the games they've got coming up as well?
Oh, winnable.
He's on like the 5 hardest games, and then they sack him, and then go, well, you've only got like 1 point from 5. Fair enough. It sounds horrendous, but then you look at the teams that are playing next. They're all teams that are around them. They should be beaten.
But yeah, it's madness. Sports. Just check the time. Bloody 51 minutes in here, chap. Sorry, boys. We're having such a good time. Anyway, I've got 3 other talking points.
We haven't even talked about Gavi yet.
Yeah,
what's going on with Gavi? Because I haven't got a clue. I didn't even know he was going in the front.
Listen there, lad. There we go. As you can see, obviously coming from BTE as well. Everyone that's been living under a rock, Gavi could leave Barcelona on a free, and the more this progresses, as you can see, Barcelona's appeal to register Gavi has also now been rejected yet again. Not the first time; it's been rejected again in the Spanish courts. He will return to a youth contract and lose his number 6 shirt that he currently does hold at FC Barcelona, and the release clause allowing him to leave for nothing this summer is reinstated. Now, Connor and chat, madness, but long have Barcelona destroyed clubs, used their power, used their weight in European football, but looks like it's come full circle now. It's Barcelona well and truly on the backside.
Yeah, and we love it. I think that's the best part about it. I think to be able to give Gavi a contract, they need to give up 200 million in the transfer window. I think to give him a full-time contract, and of course I think that if it's possible, I think they would absolutely throw Frankie de Jong underneath the bus to keep Gavi at the football club. It wouldn't surprise me if they can't get him to sign a deal that a certain Madrid come in for him. I know Gavi is Barca through and through, but how amazing would it be for Gavi to go to Real Madrid and play against Barcelona? I think that'd be awesome. But then even still, like in terms of Liverpool, Liverpool looking at Gavi at a free, obviously City would be looking at Gavi for free as well. It's huge, and I think it does go to ask more questions on other parts of Barcelona in terms of their finances. Of course, we've all said that there's been a bit of suspicious activity over the last decade or so, of course, and especially with the news I think that came out last week, was it, in terms of them paying off a referee between I think like 2001 and 2016 or something like that. It goes to show that a lot is wrong with Barcelona, and it's going to take years for them to fix it. And well, as we know, Gavi looks like he's going to be leaving Barcelona.
What are we saying, Scholes? Gavi and Jude in one window?
Oh my God. I don't know how to do it myself.
An 18 and 19-year-old, 2 of the best midfield in Europe.
Wow. I've been really crying, baby. I'll take that on all day long. What are you kidding me? Sorry, Scholes. I would take that on all day long. Are you kidding me?
I'd be buzzing. Like I really like Gavi. And I think Gavi and Jude, it's very rare now you find a box-to-box midfielder, like an out-and-out box-to-box in Jude. it's so hard to come by someone who's equally good as going forward with his yard coming back and with his build. And then Gavi's just one of the players you can just throw him on the team sheet
He's a Coutinho replacement.
and let him do what he wants.
He's an
You
upgrade
know-
on Thiago, though,
Yeah.
mate. He's got
He
pace
is,
to
yeah.
his game.
He's
Yeah.
unreal.
Like, that's the one aspect that Thiago misses, do you reckon, Scholes, in this Liverpool system, his legs.
It is the legs, and he's just. Oh, I love him. I'd get him a Freddo and a couple of quid, and we'll send it to Barcelona in a little brown envelope.
Yeah, they like envelopes in Barcelona, don't they?
Little Tesco meal day. I'll send them over on the next plane. We'll be happy, won't we?
Nice pan of Scouse. Gavi probably wouldn't even have a Scooby-Doo what any Scouse is saying to him, but we just have to get Thiago
I
translated.
did see the other day. There was watching El Clasico as he walked to the pitch and started the other arm around them, and I was like, ooh.
All Ancelotti has to do is get bro. There we go. We sign him.
Offer them a piece of chewy.
But the four horsemen of the apocalypse, yes.
Dave.
Big up, Dave. How are we, mate? Big up there, chat as well. Make sure you head over and subscribe. Dave, if you're available tomorrow night, mate, I'll get you on. Very surprised if we get him, lads. But you never know. Hopefully, Thiago puts a good word in for him. And you never know. Is it Messi's kid's a massive Liverpool fan, isn't he? Or supposedly just winds up his dad with the Barcelona memes still to this day. Is it like
He loves Ronaldo and he loves Liverpool. I mean, that's really key.
like, he just winds
bringing
up.
him down 40 pegs, isn't it?
Yeah, so you never know. It's a secret
I'd
scout.
love Liverpool to just blow 100 million on Messi, so I'm starting from the 12s or something.
Yeah, there we go. But chat, as I said, I'd be made up if we could sign him. And I think, as the lads have already alluded to, a player that ability, especially if he, as we mentioned on the tweet there, if he does become available on a free, you will literally have, I'd say, you'd have more clubs interested in him than Jude, just mainly due to the fact of obviously the availability, the wages as well, and first and foremost, quality as well. But that would save Liverpool, would save whoever's signing him 100 odds, 150 odd million easily. If you think about it, I think Gavi's 18 as well, boys, which is mad. I mean, you can bring it
9 million a year. Take the contract on, pay his agent off. You're laughing. That's not even part of the package that's available for Liverpool in the summer. Just go and pay
What would
the
you
dude
go
like
for
me.
though? Would you rather spend? Because let's be honest, if Gavi signed somewhere else, you're never going to sign him for less than 90 million.
Oh yeah, but if he's a free in the summer, then just pay him his wage over 9 or 10 million and just say, here, let's spend 10 million quid a year at Liverpool. It'll go up. We'll bring you up to 15 million a year on your third year if you're doing well. If we get Champions League, if we win something.
Go, right, we'll have. I think if you're going to sign him, you've got to sign. If you're going to sign Jude now, you've got to sign both of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because if Gavi goes anywhere else, you're paying 100 million, and then you can't get Jude. You're paying 100 million for him as well. So it's you've got to get in this window.
Jude is a payment signing. Gavi is an astute signing. You know, if you get him, it's just you have to convince him to come here if he is. I'd love it.
But I'm getting excited. If you sign Jude, if you're saying to Gavi you can play alongside Jude for the next 10 years, oh my god. Yeah, that's just, and you get Jurgen Klopp on the blower as well. So you just tell him to.
And James Milner still starts in that midfield three.
Yeah,
Like,
imagine Milner in the sticks behind those two. There's your legs for them.
9 with his one ankle and his one kneecap.
But yes, let's move it on. So we'll just talk about that as well. But big up there, chat. Big up Henry. That's all he wants us. Yeah, we know. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Mark. All good. I think someone else is going to get sick inside about the Bellingham. Henry, we're going nowhere on this channel. We're getting him. There we go. It's probably worse than the BBC, Mark, at this rate anyway. They manipulate their media, don't they? As we all know. Going on to the next one now. Obviously, Lucas, Liev, Kev. It's a bit of a mad one, obviously, for Liverpool fans that have only just started supporting Liverpool over recent years, will not really understand the journey that this man has gone on. Obviously, disappointing news did come out last year that obviously heart monitoring system that clubs do say, and there was an unexpected heart movement, or there was a lot of medical tests done on Lucas the back end of last year. And sadly, this season at Gremio now, where he did retire, going back to where we did, Liverpool famously, Rafa Benitez did sign him. But he was a player that I would probably relate in relation to him and Jordan Henderson have had very similar in terms of the fan base that Lucas had to, and even at the end of Lucas's time at Liverpool,
two players that had to earn respect completely.
Yeah.
Earned it.
Yeah, just your thoughts on Lucas, mate.
Lucas and Henderson were two of the guys that I screamed the most about going back to the late 2000s, early 2010s or whatever. About how, what the hell are we doing with these guys? What's going on here? What are we seeing in these guys and as a team? But like Rafa brought him in as an attacking midfielder, and he saw something in him. Say, as you can see there with the long hair as you're looking at him, he was brought in then as an attacking midfielder. He was going to be like our number 10 or attacking wide left player, and he brought him in and he saw something in him to say that he tracked back an awful lot. He worked. Even though his link up play and his pivot play wasn't the greatest at that time, he saw that his work rate going back, tracking back for the team and stuff was something to look at. So he converted him back to pretty much a defensive midfielder, and that was down to like a lot of players getting injured at the time in that position, and he took it over and he made it his own.
He was one of the most frustrating players, I think, for others at that time. Like, he'd be giving away fouls on the halfway, and you're like, "Lucas, what are you doing, lad?"
Yeah. But then he honed his skill, man, and he became like, really, really.
He adopted Brazilian scouser.
I was disgusted that he left like a month or two before he was at the club for 10 years and he didn't get a what do you call it? The 10-year
testimonial.
That's it.
Yeah.
So he didn't get a testimonial, which is weird. I mean, if one player deserved a testimonial at the club, it was definitely Lucas Leiva, because he lived and breathed. He understood what was expected of him, and even though he didn't have the speed or the shooting ability that was required of him in the attacking sense, his defensive prowess just grew and grew, and he became undroppable for us there for a few seasons, like undroppable. Like if you didn't see him in the team, you were worried that we were going to lose the game, and that's how how much of a personality he became within the Liverpool team and the bench. How much Gerrard rated him, and well on top of that, Xavi Alonso rated him. On top of that, that's how good he was for us.
Yeah,
So, and when he left, we kind of didn't want him to leave, even though we knew that he did pick up a lot of injuries in his later career, but we still didn't want him to leave. It's just some players just ingrain themselves.
Yeah, we love him. I do.
We do, yeah.
And like, Con, just your thoughts as well, as Kev alluded to. I think all of us, obviously, it's a bit mad. I think when you look back at his career, he won that very prestigious Brazilian award that legendary players like the likes of Kaká, like Neymar as well, have won and had such illustrious careers. Obviously, coming from probably one of the greatest Brazilian clubs in terms of Gremio as well, producing the likes of Ronaldinho and numerous legends in the game. And it's a bit mad, mate. What are your memories of Lucas, mate? What are your fond memories?
I love Lucas Leiva. I think when, as right as what Kev said, I think when you look at those players that got doubted so many times, and then come back to fight, it was like proper. Yeah, we call it like obviously the Liverpool way, but it was the fact that again you don't stay at the club for 9-10 years without doing things right. And again, like as you mentioned, obviously Xavi Alonso and Steven Gerrard and so forth, and he come in with so much hype and praise, and then for it then to not fruition, and the hard work that he put in, and even his time away from Liverpool, obviously what he's spoken about after his time at Liverpool and all the times, it makes you think that appreciates his career more at Liverpool. For me, I think obviously one of my favorite moments for Lucas when he had that 30-yard shot against Everton.
One of his last couple of games
yeah,
as well, and Klopp just absolutely pissed himself.
Yeah, when he thought he could blast one in from 30 yards, but that's the thing, and even still, of course, he's gone on to have a good career in Italy, and obviously going back to Brazil, but it is a shame how it's ended. But he's had a very, very good career, and of course, it's obviously we speak about testimonial. Obviously, I think one should be done. Obviously, he won't be able to play in it.
I think.
Yeah,
I think it was tweeted Liverpool yesterday, or when it got announced the news, saying they'd see Liverpool very soon.
Yeah.
So I think obviously he might be coming back soon, because I think a couple of his kids are quite clearly born in Liverpool, and they are Scouts technically on the passport as well. So it's sad, and obviously, as Eamon said there, he was an average player, but that's what we were back then, and obviously we love him, but at the end of the day, I think, I'd 100% agree with it, Eamon, but I think, as he said there, that's where we were at the time. But as the lads have already alluded to, Scholes, he never left anything. He understood the fabric of the club. He understood Liverpool. He understood where he was.
And like, he was just, I said, you took the words in off there with the way he knew the club inside and out, in the sense of he got the fans. Like, once he got them on side, he was a Scouser, and it was like an overnight thing. It was people weren't fond. All of a sudden, it just clicked, and he was just one of the players where everyone loved him. You were like, yeah, he's not technically gifted as Gerrard, or he's never going to be the world's best number 6, not the best number 8, not number 10, but he's one of them first names on the team sheet. Doesn't matter where he plays, he goes in because of what he gives and what he represents.
He's probably the most Scouse Brazilian we've ever had, was he? We've had a multitude of Brazilians with Coutinho and Fabinho and whoever we had. He's the one that got the club completely.
I saw a story the other day, and it was about Lucas, and when we signed Fabinho and Firmino, they both started looking at moving like out of the city as their first houses. And he turned around and said, "You're not like," he basically didn't allow them to get the move to Formby, and he was like, "You live in the city. You will not understand the fans or the club if you do not live in the city." So they ended up moving to like West Derby and Wavertree. Like,
I think one of the best interviews to go and watch is probably the one he did with the Redmen about a year after he left. And he spoke for, I think it was like a good hour and a half about like his local career and you know the lifestyle, like you said, Scholes, in terms of, you know, living in the city. Because I think even Daniel Sturridge, when he came into Liverpool, you know, was living outside the city and didn't feel connected. Lucas told him, and then of course things changed, and that's the thing where, again, you look at potential coaching roles as well. Lucas would be up there for, you know, potential coaching roles. You know, maybe Liverpool, like with Stevie G, when we've offered, you know, under 18 and under 21 jobs for potential. So maybe that's the option as well for Lucas.
Yeah,
100% agree.
But yeah, look, Lucas, we'll play this, and this will constantly be a theme. He's part of the furniture now on the channel anyway. Maybe I needed to get this clip out anyway. But just when someone's a silly sausage on the channel.
Unlucky.
Yeah, I'm lucky. But Lucas, there we go. To dedicate that little small.
Looking back now, though, under that tenure of like,
he is prime meme Liverpool. Like every bit of content come out of Lucas, he knew what he was doing.
It was even when he was in the shop as well, and he pops out the changing room, goes, "Langy."
Yeah.
But I was looking back then, like, we had some awful number 10s. Like, in them years, you had Aquilani, Luis Alberto, Lucas, Voronin. Not a single one could shoot.
Yeah.
And they were attacking they couldn't shoot, couldn't pass. Lucas ended up a centre-back with Jamie Carragher.
Yeah. And just those names, goals, it obviously just goes to show how privileged we have been in recent years, of how much of a journey Jurgen Klopp has taken us on. And hopefully, as we know, we spoke about with Jude and that, it is a transitional 12, 24 months, but we've got Jurgen Klopp with Liverpool. We will eventually get back to winning ways. And one of the hardest things was trying to get a manager of the ilk in Jurgen Klopp for a very long time, get a manager of that stature. But I don't think it'll be too long until Liverpool are back to winning ways, as disappointing as it is. And yeah,
Exactly why I completely agree with him, and I know I understand that he was kind of average in comparison to the players that we have now. But like, we have to go by eras here. You know, we have to go by the team that we have now. They're probably a better team than a more successful team that we've had back in the day. Like, you know, it's just they were fitter, they're faster now. It's just you have to respect the era that we're in, that we were in at that time,
Yeah.
and what they did for the club and how much they gave for the club, which is why I'll always love Dirk Coat. I'll always love Stevie G. I'll always love Lucas, Jamie Carragher.
Peter Crouch is probably one of my favorite players. Like,
Yes, Steve Finnan, Peter Crouch is one of
yeah.
mine as well. Yeah, yeah. So like these guys, they gave everything for the shirt. Like, and can't ask any more of them. I mean, they mightn't have been completely packaged or gifted, but they gave everything for the shirt when they were on the pitch. It's the lads that just, you know, I mean, Xabi Alonso gave you everything there as well. But like, on top of that, we had guys that went under the radar and just didn't really do much and just kind of coasted along. And your Rieras, your Aquilani's, your Christian Paulsons. Remember these days?
Jay
These guys, I
Spearing.
know.
What's Jay?
At least he gave his name. You know, that's why everybody remembers Jay Spearing fondly, and they don't remember, you know, fellas that were more successful.
I
in that
just have
field.
flashbacks to that Arsenal game where he just gets. Did he get sent off in that game? But he was just like an absolute pit bull, the Scouse pit bull on the
Neil
pitch.
Milner,
Yeah.
Simon, was it Cinema Pangol? You know, these kind of players that were
And
there.
Gog,
You know?
remember?
And
I
Gog?
remember that.
Dominic Cog.
The goals against the goals against Manchester United.
I've always called him the shit Divock Origi, but you know, it's just it's just the way, you know. I know Divock is the shit Divock Origi, but like in Italy, but like these players suited the team, and they've gone on to not go anywhere else. And you know, Coutinho, as much as he was important for Liverpool at the time, he left, and nobody really missed him. You know, and because it was always about the next step with some of these players, and it was never about, you know, this is my pinnacle. And that's why all of these other players are remembered for Liverpool, because for them it was their pinnacle. Daniel Agger is in that bracket as well. No matter how much injuries they had, they loved Liverpool, and that's all I ask for as a Liverpool fan. If they love the club and they play for the club, I don't care. I didn't care about the success then, but I knew it would eventually come with players of that ilk, and that's what Klopp has created players that care about the club as a team, not just individual couple of players.
100%, chat as well, and that's probably why we all love, and that's why fundamentally I love Origi as well. He never kicked off, and he never got that with Lucas. You get certain players that come to your club, and you see them in the Premier League, and they're just making an absolute. They're leaking stuff to the press internally, and it's an absolute mess. But I think Liverpool, apart from there was a certain player in Liverpool's squad that was supposedly leaking the lineups, but he's no longer at the club now. Thank God. We know him. Allegedly, he was leaking stuff to the press. But the final one, Alisson, the GOAT. I need to put that in. That will be a little small segment. I haven't got the meme, sorry, chat, but that'll be getting on the channel soon enough. But this one, Scholes, statistically, goals prevented this season, the 2022-23 season, just goes to show we love Ali, but these statistics just clearly indicate how much of an important role Alisson Becker has had on Liverpool. Scholes, when you look at that chart, we'll start from obviously the podcast listeners. We'll start obviously with Alisson. He's saved a percentage of 10.6 goals this season. So like big opportunities, more or less goals. And then you go below him, Kepa, who is on a 5.5 percentage. Aaron Ramsdale is on 1.54, considering how good of a season he has at Arsenal. David De Gea is on minus 3.68 goals prevented. And Ederson. This is where Ederson and a lot of City fans don't really like Ederson for this point. And that statistic alone. A minus 4.10% of shots prevented this season, Scholes. That's madness.
It's crazy. Like you look at it, and if I don't know if it's in percentages or whether it's like actual goals prevented,
Yeah.
but if you look at Liverpool and City, the gap between them in recent years hasn't been a lot. I know this is only of a season, but obviously individual performances and standard of players weren't altered that much. If that's goals themselves, it's 14 goals. That's a lot of goals as a difference between allegedly the two best goalkeepers in the league. It's honestly mental. It's just, and how often is it now when a team goes in 1-on-1, you've got a glimmer of hope because you know you've got Alisson behind you. You think, there's a chance. How many times does he get a toe to something or a hand to something or tips it around the post and you just think, that's your big goal.
Yeah, that's absolutely spot on there, Mason. And obviously, Con, obviously to conclude as well very soon, mate. It's as Scholesy said that and that's why not just for all of our sanity, but first and foremost, Alisson's sanity, mate. Because if he continues doing statistics like that and they're coming off the back of this season, you're looking at and that just goes to pinpoints even more how many goals Alisson is basically pulling us out with the mire. It was the back end of last season was one thing, but this season, that's just mad in itself.
Yeah, no, it is 100%. I think if people needed a reminder,
and as Eamon said there, sorry, Con, I don't like those stats. It just says our defense ain't doing their job, and he's spot on.
Yeah, no, and it is 100%. But like I said, I was about to say, like if people needed a reminder on who the best goalkeeper in the Premier League is, and if not the world, Alisson Becker this season has been probably the only Liverpool player that has kept his standard, and probably his level's probably gone up as well because of how bad Liverpool have been defensively. Again, you think of when we spoke earlier on about prices of players. Obviously, Ali being for I think what was it for 2 weeks was the most expensive goalkeeper in the world. But you even look at that price tag now, that means absolutely nothing. Like he saves us games.
Pennies.
The amount of points.
You'd pay double it now. If someone said, you've got this statue of keeper, you're going to win this with him, and he's going to make these crucial saves, you pay double it.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
priceless.
And you think about it now, like, Ali's 30, he's got another
10 years.
6, 7 years maybe at the elite level, and then obviously going a bit short down. But as you said about the Edison numbers, people have compared Edison and Alisson obviously for Brazil as well, and I know many Brazilians have had a debate on that regard. For me, Edison's great with his feet, but if you need a goalkeeper to
shot stopping, he's terrible, mate.
If you need a goalkeeper that is you can rely on, if for example to stop like a last minute shot, Alisson's your guy.
City had Alisson in goal for their Champions League final against.
Well, they would have won.
Chelsea, they would have won for me.
Yeah, and City probably would have won 2 or 3 Champions Leagues if they had Alisson in goal. Edison has cost them so many times, and even in the league, you probably look at Edison in. Of course, I think many people go to the goals, error to goals ratio, but I think Edison's. For me, people go that he's a calm goalkeeper. He's really not. I feel like
that -4, mate, just speaks volumes.
Yeah, exactly. And just go back on Ali. Like, you think that again around now is when goalkeepers are at their peak. Ali, again, if Liverpool can sort their business out in terms of midfield and defense, again, like you said. We speak about numbers being 18-19 and 19-20 of like less conceding goals. Liverpool could go on a massive like defensive record if we got our act together, and that's the thing where I don't want Ali being wasted, and for that reason, because he for me he is the best goalkeeper in the world.
And even his leadership qualities as well, Kev, just to conclude on this, mate. It's like, listen to us. If you missed the chat, as I said at the top of the show, he was basically having to go with some of the individual performance as well. And he's probably sick and tired, like a lot of those senior players, the players that are pulling their weight this season or trying their best. And he more or less doubted a couple of those players in front of him, saying they're not doing enough. And the fact that he is a leader, we pride ourselves in recent seasons of having leaders in that camp, and Ali is he could easily be Liverpool's captain, 100%.
I think he's been our best player for the last few seasons. So, like for me, it's an easy. Even in the final against Spurs, I know we won it 2-0 in the end, but he kept out. Even so, because it was such a weird game.
Chances like
He's like those stats are not a surprise to me because I've been saying that I've been putting them up on my streams when I've been doing live watch-alongs. That he's been doing this kind of thing season in, season out. 10.60. Like that's ridiculous stats, but he's been averaging and like a 9 the last few seasons, which is ridiculous. There's nobody near him. I don't know how him and Ederson are spoken in the same sentence, really. Yeah, I just I don't understand it. Ederson plays a good sweeper keeper with his feet, but when it comes to 1v1s, he just doesn't do it. Alisson keeps out more 1v1s, threefold than he lets in. Well, even more so, I'd say fivefold than he lets in. If you put 10 1v1s in front of him, he's probably saving 8 of those. And that's just the way. That's the difference in the quality. To me, I believe that Alisson is better than even Peter Schmeichel at his peak. I think he's better than Neuer at his peak for saves. And Neuer was brilliant for like 2 or 3 seasons, like outstanding. But he still doesn't have those ratios that Alisson has. And it just goes to show, as Eamon said, how weak the defense has been.
There's a debate as well, though, lads. As well, I know he's only been in the Premier League a couple of seasons, but as Kev said, there's a full, well and truly argument to be said there, and I know a lot of Man United fans probably will chime in. And Petr Cech, great goalkeeper in the Premier League. Even Pepe Reina has a couple of Golden Gloves, but I think 100% in a couple of years, Alisson will hopefully, if Liverpool get our house in order, the defence, he'll pull away in terms of clean sheets, Golden Gloves, well and truly.
I think Cech is the next thing to Alisson. I don't think it's Peter Schmeichel or Van der Sar or any of these ones that came behind him. I think Peter Cech was one of the best goalkeepers probably in the history of the Premier League, and I think Alisson surpassed. Yeah, his stats says the same thing as well. So I don't care what fan base says it or what fan bases think. I never care what fan bases think. I care what facts on paper and statistically, and rate wise, Ali for me should be given a bonus every single year. His wages should be raised every single year for what he does for the club. And he has the odd blip with his feet. It's just because the defense let him down because he's expecting a player to be in a certain position, and when they're not there, and he goes to play it, he has to second guess himself, and that's what he's getting caught. If you go back a few seasons ago, and Ali was flicking it over Brighton players' heads, you remember that, and just kind of like and tucking it and megging players. That's just the way he was because he knew where the next player was going to be. But that's dipped off in the last couple of seasons. It just goes to show that our defense needs a bit of a revamp as much as the midfield. And I just think
we are so blessed. We're so blessed that we've got Ray Clemens in our history as a football club, serial trophy winner at Liverpool. He is probably, especially depending on what generation you speak to, he will be Liverpool's best. But I think if Alisson hopefully does get a lot more trophies in the next 5-6 year period, I think obviously it'd be interesting to see.
The only difference, because Ray Clemens was an outstanding goalkeeper. He's been the best in Liverpool's history so far. He played in an era though where the ball was passed back to him, and most of his stats are pickups from pass backs. So like as outstanding as he was in saves and stuff like that, he hasn't been put under as much pressure as what most of the modern goalkeepers have, and he will always be. I always go by era with goalkeepers, and Ray Clemens is one, and Alisson Becker will be in the second era post rule change. Is the only way you can think of it. Ray Clemens
as Eamon mentioned before as well, it's like with keepers usually you can't really go off stats. Like that stat he's put in there where it's only going to see the 16 goals. It sounds amazing because it's 16 goals, but then if you've got 9 defenders in front of you, then it's not a lot. But with that stat you found there, Jack, at the Opta one I think it was. It's not saves, it's goal prevention.
Goal preventions.
Like they're saying he saved 10 more shots that he shouldn't have saved. Like it's not a save, they've put that as a goal if he hadn't have saved it.
Yeah, even
So
Wiggs went.
it's
Wiggs went
so
to the midget.
long.
How many games a season has it been so far? How many games has it been this
It's
season?
26, 27,
And
or
he's
28.
26, 27, and he's got a 10-point ratio to a 5-point ratio. You're talking about him being better in the entirety of half the games this season over Kepa.
That's
So he's been better at level point and then double that again.
just
over
look at
Kepa.
him at the
That is
Bernabeu a couple of nights ago as well. That's obviously
Well, I
Wiggs
kept
and all the like those like saves even at half time before like obviously Madrid got their goal. Gone. Oh, chat over. We'll round off now because he's been going for another an hour and 20 minutes. So,
Oh, Jesus.
but these three are on the meter. They were like, pays on the or pays in scran lap when he comes out. But yeah, it goes to show how good he is, and I think at the end of Alisson Becker's career, I think we could be. We're already looking at one of the greatest Premier League goalkeepers by a bloody country mile. And hopefully, as we've already spoke about tonight, with Alisson, that'd be some. That's his. I don't even know who that was.
Some dodgy thing that is.
Yeah, it's a copy in Brazil. It's another Brazilian goalkeeper. But yeah, he's one of legends, the GOAT for me. Goalkeepers, but I mean, Ray Clemens. We're very blessed to have those two, and
It's just separate eras.
yeah.
They're both the GOAT, but you can't judge the goalkeepers. Yeah, you have to judge them pre-rule change and after rule change because it's two different
Yeah.
goalkeeping styles.
And what a fella, Ray, as well. I don't know if you've seen it, chat. I wish I should have really got it on today. I don't know if you've seen it. Was it BBC or it was a certain interview, and the interviewee didn't know he was speaking to Ray Clemens, and he was like, "What do you do?" to Ray, and he was like, "Oh, I used to be an ex-goalkeeper." I was like, "Who for?" Liverpool, and he's like, "Really?" The interview didn't have a bloody Scooby Doo. He's like, "Yeah, I'm Ray Clemens." And he was like blown away. The interview. You haven't seen it, chat.
That happened with Tommy Lawrence as well.
Yeah, Tommy Lawrence as well. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, Tommy
Yeah,
Lawrence.
because they asked him, didn't he? Said what were you doing for the derby, and he was like, "I was there." And like, and he was like, "No, I was the goalkeeper."
Yeah, some great content out there. So, but
there was an interview with Ray Clemens. That's because you're thinking. I know you're thinking of the recent one with Tommy Lawrence, but there was one with Ray Clemens before that when your man didn't have a clue who he was. But I remember the Tommy Lawrence one as well. Yeah,
classic ones. But we're blessed. We are Liverpool Football Club. We're very blessed, and this is why if players come in, if Jude comes in, you will be remembered for the next 40, 50 years if you are successful at the football club. But gentlemen, Connor, you are live tonight at 9. You know, I thought you were, but shout out obviously your socials and where everyone can find you, please, mate.
Yeah, the Cup Council. I'm not live tonight at 9. Usually live at 9. But yeah, thanks for having us on. And hopefully, Jude Bellingham signs for Liverpool. I'm still having hope. I'm probably deluded in thinking of that hope. But yeah, thanks for having us on.
He's signing, La. But a massive thank you for coming on, mate. Kev, are you live tonight, La?
Yeah, I might be. Yeah, I'll be live in a bit. I think it'll be more like 9:30. I'll be live. I think it'll be between YouTube and Facebook, and I might play a horror. Right, the crack.
Yeah, well, there we go. Well, obviously Spider LFC and obviously Spider Arctic. Is that Arctic Gaming, Kev?
No, it's just Spider. Yeah, you just search Spider, but you can put Arctic Gaming after if you want, and I'll kind of find it easier. I for some reason my account split Arctic Gaming and Spider. I don't know why. I might have to restart it. There's not enough people there to care about it. Sorry, lads.
No, everyone's tuning in tonight.
I know, yeah. Horrors, scary stuff.
Are we watching highlights? Are we watching highlights of the Ev? Yeah, or highlights of our poor defending this season? That's a horror show in itself. Well, Kev, massive thank you for coming on.
No problem, lad.
And Scolesy. All right, lad. There we go.
I will not be live tonight. I will be with the missus, not me too. It's been going cold for the past 45 minutes. What you know,
I'm in the doghouse by the looks of it.
You get reimbursed, Skulls. Don't worry.
Man texted like Jackie T's Eddie. I was like, Yeah, you got 3 more points. I'll be down in half an hour. Love.
Well, they say
Lads,
sorry, love.
Mariam, you get away with murder than
We've
after
got a
that.
microwave for a reason, haven't we? That's the
Once,
main
once,
thing.
once you put the ring on the
Up the
finger, you can
lads.
get away with murder.
Yeah, it's alright. Scozies, Raddy and Bigsy. So shout out Bigsy. Sorry, la. But yeah, Scozy might be wearing his tea very soon. He'll be going on for another couple of seconds. But a massive thank you, gentlemen, and of course, a massive thank you to the gents and ladies in the comments as well. It's been another great episode as always. Yous make the shows as always. Everyone in the comment section below. So obviously, shout out to Mark, obviously Eamons, obviously Helen as well, Henry, and Panov as well. Every single one of these. Big up Wiggs, big up obviously Dave as well did pop in, and big up Shay, big up to every single one. His apologies if I've missed your name, but he's all bloody smashed it tonight. And a massive thank you. Subscribe here if you are new. Obviously, if you are listening on podcast form, all these podcasts are available on Spotify. I'm getting my act together, so I know a lot of you, if he's work nights or if he's working in industries that you can listen to podcasts and available, or if you're going to work or whatnot. The podcasts are available on Spotify and other podcast means as well. But from all 4 of us this evening, a massive thank you. Reds, we'll be back tomorrow at same time, 7 p.m. And yeah, we might be just talking about whatever is in the news. Liverpool, Premier League news as well. We will be doing that. But Reds and rival fans, if you're tuning in, absolute legends, have a lovely rest of your night. And yeah, I'll get a move on and end the show. See you later, everyone. Massive thank you, everyone. I'm going to say goodbye. There we go, Kev. In a bit laugh.